Millions moved in a matter of days. Justice? That's still waiting. This is the story of a man who claimed to help during a crisis, while secretly earning over 20 million euros. A foundation, a private company, and a government desperate for face masks. Welcome to one of the most controversial deals of the Dutch pandemic. This is the story of the Sywert van Lienden's fraud, power, and his pandemic windfall. Stay with us as we uncover shocking secrets known to only a few, revealed through exclusive insider information. And here's the real question: was this premeditated fraud or just business as usual in a national emergency? Let's find out. Welcome to Dutch Crime Files. The perfect public image. Sywert van Lienden wasn't your typical businessman. He was a political commentator, a social activist. People saw him as a calm voice during chaos. Then came COVID-19. Hospitals ran out of protective gear. Panic hit governments everywhere. That's when van Lienden stepped up. With two partners, he launched a foundation called the Hulptroepen Alliantie. Their goal? To help the Dutch government get face masks. They said it was not for profit. Sounds noble, right? But behind closed doors, something else was happening. A private company, a secret deal, and millions flowing into personal accounts. The hidden structure. Here's what came out later. While the foundation talked to the Ministry of Health, van Lienden and his partners set up a commercial company, Relief Goods Alliance BV. That company, not the foundation, signed a massive contract with the Dutch government, worth over 100 million euros. The result? A payout of 20.7 million euros, straight to the men behind it all. And the craziest part? Some ministry officials knew this was a for-profit deal. They said nothing. Others claimed they were misled. One leaked memo shows internal doubts. Why are we dealing with a foundation and a private company at the same time? But the pressure to get PPE was sky high. And so, the contract was approved in just days. Was this smart crisis management or government failure under pressure? Behind closed doors. Internal ministry chaos. Inside the Ministry of Health, chaos reigned. Emails show contradictory messages, unclear responsibilities, and mounting pressure to deliver results fast. One internal official wrote, "We are flying blind. We don't even know which entity we're contracting with." Another file reveals a senior official saying, "We're aware of the risks, but the political pressure is unbearable." This wasn't just confusion, it was dysfunction. And in that fog, Sywert's deal slid through. So was it exploitation, or did the state simply fold under pressure? Public backlash and legal firestorm. When the truth came out in 2021, people were furious. Van Lienden had gone on TV saying he was just helping out. Now he looked like a profiteer. The outrage was massive. Politicians demanded answers. Social media exploded. One former prime minister called it a national embarrassment. Then came the lawsuits. His own foundation, the Hulptroepen Alliantie, sued him and his partners. Their claim? That he misused the foundation for personal gain. In February 2025, the Amsterdam Civil Court agreed. Van Lienden and his team had to pay back the full 20.7 million euros. The judge said their actions didn't fit the goals of a non-profit. The state also wanted that money, but lost. Why? Because the ministry knew about the private company. But that was just the civil case. Something bigger was already brewing: the media machine. While critics scrambled to uncover the truth, van Lienden stayed calm, at least publicly. He went on talk shows. He wrote columns. He maintained the message. This was about helping people, and it worked. For a while, media outlets gave him the benefit of the doubt. One investigative journalist later revealed he knew exactly how to control the narrative. He used his media savvy as a shield. But once the lawsuits hit, even friendly journalists turned cold. And his fall was as fast as his rise. The criminal case. What's at stake? In December 2024, prosecutors filed criminal charges: fraud, embezzlement, money laundering, forgery. The first hearings are done. The main trial is coming soon. Prosecutors say van Lienden lied to the government, to the public, and to his own team. The Dutch FIOD had eyes on him since summer 2020. They used wiretaps, intercepted emails, and what they found was serious. One email read, "Let's keep the foundation clean. Everything commercial goes through the BV." And then this, a WhatsApp message from May 31st, 2020. Van Lienden wrote to his partners, "Even seriously, what we're discussing here borders on premeditated fraud." Yes, he really wrote that. So, if they said it out loud, how could they possibly defend it in court? Political connections, silent partners. What many don't know is that Van Lienden had deep connections in Dutch politics, especially within the CDA. He'd advised political figures, campaigned on public platforms, and moved comfortably among decision-makers. Insiders say this wasn't just about PPE. It was about access, about knowing who to call and when. One anonymous source claimed, if this had been anyone else, the deal never would have happened. So was Van Lienden protected? And if so, by whom? The defense and the bigger picture. His lawyers argue, look, this wasn't hidden. The government knew. It was a chaotic time. They filled a gap that no one else could. Van Lienden himself said, "We didn't break the law. We saved lives." Some people agree. Others say, this was a betrayal. It wasn't about legality, it was about trust. And here's the thing. This isn't just a Dutch problem. In the UK and the US, politically connected people also grabbed PPE contracts without proper checks. Lessons from abroad. In the UK, the VIP lane scandal awarded PPE contracts to government allies. In the US, politically connected firms cashed in overnight. The Netherlands thought it was immune, but this case proved otherwise. The line between public good and private gain blurred everywhere. And in every country, one truth stood out. Crises don't just reveal systems. They expose them. What happened to the money? One question the public kept asking. What did Van Lienden and his partners actually do with the 20 million euros? Reports showed that the money was routed through various holding companies. Some of it was invested. Some was used to pay off personal debts, and some to this day remains unaccounted for. A court-appointed financial expert stated, there was no clear structure, just movement. A lot of it. Was this careful planning or an effort to erase the trail? The invisible advisors. Behind Van Lienden stood more than just his two partners. Financial advisors, legal consultants, and political insiders helped shape the structure. Some helped design the BV's role. Others helped communicate with ministries. But none of them were ever charged. Why? Because their actions, while ethically gray, were technically legal. This raises a haunting question. In white-collar crime, who really gets caught and who stays in the shadows? A nation's trust broken. After the scandal broke, surveys showed a sharp drop in public trust, not just in Van Lienden, but in the entire system. People began asking, if this could happen so easily, what else is going unseen? Political leaders tried to shift the blame, but for many Dutch citizens, the damage was done. The sense of betrayal lingered, and the immunity of elites? That became a conversation no one could avoid anymore. What if he walks free? With the trial still ongoing, one outcome haunts the public imagination. What if he's acquitted? Would that mean the system failed again? Or that he truly outmaneuvered it legally? Some argue it would set a dangerous precedent, that you can weaponize chaos and get away with it. Others say that's exactly what already happened. Right now, Van Lienden says he's innocent. Maybe he is, but this case? It shows how quickly good intentions can turn into gray areas and how millions can vanish in a moment of panic. Was it fraud? Or just how business works when the world falls apart? And if you want more true crime from a Dutch perspective, like, subscribe and hit the bell. This was Dutch Crime Files.